I'm Oliver. Today, we're going to talk about the number one thing men crave. It's not love, it's respect. So, today, we're going to tackle one of the biggest and most painful mysteries in romantic relationships. And it starts with a scene like this. A couple is having a small disagreement. The woman, trying to be helpful, makes a critical comment about a decision he made or a task he performed. Perhaps she says it jokingly, or corrects a small detail in a story he's telling their friends. She moves on in 5 minutes, but he doesn't. He shuts down. He becomes quiet, distant, and cold for the rest of the evening. When she asks, "What's wrong?" he says the classic line, "Nothing, I'm fine." A huge emotional chasm has just opened between them, and she has no idea why. She thinks, why is he being so overly sensitive? And he thinks, she has absolutely no respect for me. This disconnect is not about him being sensitive. It's about the triggering of a man's core psychological operating system. What if I told you that for many men, the primary emotional currency in a romantic relationship isn't love, but respect? And that feeling respected is the prerequisite for him to feel and express love? Today, we are going to explore this powerful and often misunderstood dynamic. So, why is respect so fundamental to the male psyche? The roots are both evolutionary and sociological. For thousands of years, a man's value and his very survival within a tribe were tied to his competence, his ability to hunt, to build, to protect, to solve problems. Respect from his tribe, and especially from his partner, was a direct confirmation of his competence, and therefore his value as a man. Disrespect, on the other hand, was a signal of incompetence, a threat to his standing and his identity. Psychologically, men are often conditioned away from seeking softer forms of validation, like comfort and reassurance. We're taught to suppress those needs, so respect becomes the primary acceptable form of validation. It affirms that our actions, our decisions, and our efforts are seen and valued. Here's the crucial difference that causes so much confusion. A woman can often still feel deeply loved by a partner, even when she is angry with him or disapproves of a specific action. Her feeling of being loved is a separate, more stable entity. But for many men, it is incredibly difficult to feel loving towards a partner by whom he feels fundamentally disrespected in that moment. The feeling of disrespect acts like a switch that closes his heart. The tragedy is that women often show disrespect without any intention of doing so. They are simply trying to be helpful or efficient. So, for the women listening, let's identify some of the most common respect killers. Actions you might think are harmless, but which can feel like a deep wound to your partner. Respect killer number one, public correction. This is a classic. You're out with friends and he's telling a story. He gets a small detail wrong, and you jump in to correct him. No, honey, it was Tuesday, not Wednesday. Or he's explaining something, and you contradict his point in front of others. Your intention, to be accurate and helpful. His interpretation, a public vote of no confidence. You have just undermined his competence in front of the tribe. He feels embarrassed and foolish. Respect. Killer number two, unsolicited advice and micromanagement. He's trying to assemble a piece of furniture, load the dishwasher, or figure out directions. You come in and tell him the better, faster, or right way to do it. Your intention, to be efficient and to help him avoid frustration. His interpretation, I don't trust you to handle this. You are incompetent. By taking over the task or directing his every move, you are stripping him of the chance to solve the problem himself, which is a core way men build a sense of self-worth. Respect killer number three, contemptuous humor and sarcasm. This is the most toxic of all. It's the sarcastic joke at his expense, the roll of the eyes when he says something, the joke about how he's hopeless with technology or always forgets things. Your intention, maybe it's just your style of humor, a way of being playful. His interpretation, contempt. The relationship researcher Dr. John Gottman calls contempt the number one predictor of divorce, the sulfuric acid for love. It communicates disgust. It is the absolute opposite of respect, and it is poison to a man's heart. Respect. Killer number 4. Negative comparisons to other men. Why can't you be more like Mark? He just got a promotion. David takes his wife on vacation all the time. Your intention. To motivate him to be better. His interpretation. The ultimate status attack. You are explicitly stating that he is failing in comparison to another man, triggering his deepest fears of inadequacy. This will never motivate him. It will only create resentment and shame. So, how do you show respect in a way that he can actually feel? This is not about being a submissive 1950s housewife. It's about being a smart, effective communicator who understands her partner's psychology. Action number 1. Praise his competence and effort. Men are often starved for genuine, specific praise about their abilities. Instead of just, you look nice, try, I really admire how you handled that difficult situation at work today. You were so calm and decisive. Instead of thanks for fixing the sink, try, you are so good at figuring things out. I really appreciate that I can count on you. This is a direct deposit into his respect account. It tells him that you see and value his capabilities. Action number 2. Disagree respectfully and privately. You are absolutely allowed to disagree with him. A healthy relationship requires it. The key is how and where you do it. Never in public. Always challenge the idea, not the person. Instead of, that's a bad idea, try, I see where you're coming from with that plan. I have a different perspective I'd like to share. Can we talk it through? Action number 3. Show gratitude for his contributions. Even if he loads the dishwasher differently than you would, the fact is, he did it. Acknowledge and appreciate the effort. Thank you so much for taking care of dinner tonight. It really helps me out. This validates his effort and makes him feel like a valued contributor to the team, which will make him want to contribute more. Action number 4. Ask for his help and then trust him to do it. When you ask him to handle something, let him handle it his way. Resist the urge to micromanage. This is one of the most powerful ways to show respect. It communicates that you trust his judgment and his competence. Even if he fails, he will respect you for letting him try. This conversation is not about stroking a fragile male ego. It is about understanding a fundamental, often unspoken, psychological need. It's about learning to speak a different emotional language. For a man, feeling respected by his partner is like oxygen. He needs it to breathe, to feel safe, and to thrive in the relationship. When a man feels fundamentally respected, he feels safe. And when he feels safe, he is free to open his heart, to be generous, to be loving, and to be the best version of himself for you. You cannot demand his love while simultaneously communicating disrespect. But when you learn to speak the language of respect, you are not just making him feel good. You are creating the very conditions he needs to give you the deep, committed love you desire. Respect is the key that unlocks the door to his love. What is one way you show respect in your relationship? Or one area where you could improve? Share your insights in the comments. And if you're ready to master the language of relationships, make sure you subscribe.